Hi everyone, today we are going to create a beautiful apocalyptic environment inspired by The Last of Us in Unreal Engine. I'll guide you through each step showing you how exactly to make environments like this. It's going to be a really helpful tutorial, so stick around till the end and let's get started. Okay, so let's create a new blank project. I'm not gonna use the starter content and also ray tracing. I'm gonna name it tutorial and just hit create. As you can see, this is our blank level with this default landscape. We're not going to use this level, so we have to create new level. So for that, just go to file, new level, and I'm going to go with the empty level and just hit create. Now we are in the empty level. So first we're going to save our empty level, just hit Ctrl S, and I'm going to name it main_main and hit enter. Then we're going to create a basic lighting setup first. So for that, just go to window, and over here you can see the environment light mixer. Just click on it and create skylight, atmospheric light, sky atmosphere, volumetric clouds, and height fog. Just close this tab like that. As you can see, the basic lighting setup is done. Now we're going to create a landscape. Before creating a landscape, just go to play sectors panel, and in shapes we're going to add a cylinder. I'm going to scale it up like that, and I'm going to put it over here just to represent our character size. Now we're going to go to landscape mode. You can switch the mode from here. Just click on this selection mode and landscape. Now we're going to choose the section size. I'm going to select the 15 maybe. 15 is good. Just hit create. Now we don't need to change anything here. Just go to selection mode again and place this sphere over here. As you can see, the landscape is created. So now we're gonna apply a material to the landscape. So further, just click on this place actors panel and open the Quixel bridge. Now here you have to make sure that you are signed in order to download any assets or material from Quixel bridge. I have already downloaded some materials, so I'm gonna go to local, and over here I'm gonna add this damaged asphalt. You can search over here in home and search asphalt. As you can see, after searching asphalt, you can find bunch of these materials. So I'm using this one. So make sure you sign in and download this material in 2K or 4K resolution. Now I'm gonna go to local, and I'm gonna add this material into my Unreal Engine. I'm gonna select the highest quality, and I'm gonna click on this add button. After adding the material to our project, now we're gonna open the content browser. So for that, just hit Ctrl plus space, and in Megascans, we have this surfaces folder, and over here you can see the damaged asphalt material. As you can see, we have these three textures with the one material instance. We're not gonna use this material instance because we have to create our own. So for the displacement, we're gonna create our own material. So just right click and click on this material, and I'm gonna name it m_landscape. As you can see, if I open this landscape material, in the main material node, you can see there's no displacement input. So first we're gonna have to set up our displacement setting. So for that, just close this material editor. We're gonna have to close our engine like that, just save everything. Now we're gonna open our project folder. As you can see, I have this tutorial folder over here. Just double click to open it. And in the config, you can find this default engine configuration settings file. Just double click to open this file. Just scroll down a little bit. You're gonna have to find this engine.render settings. As you can see, I have these two prompts. I'm just gonna select them and Ctrl C for copy. In the render settings, just click on this place over here and press Ctrl V. You can find these two prompts in the description. After pasting them in this default engine file, just hit Ctrl S to save everything and then close this file. Now let's open our project again from here. Okay, so after restarting the engine, just open the content browser, and we're gonna open our main map. Just double click to open our main map. And now if we open our Megascans folder, surfaces, and in the damage asphalt folder, landscape. Now over here you can see we have this displacement input. Now just open the content browser and drag and drop these textures over here. Now this one is albedo. This one is normal. Now if you open the content browser again, double click to open this texture. As you can see, in the red channel we have the ambient occlusion, and in the green channel we have the roughness map, and in the blue channel we have the displacement data. So just close this texture, and red is ambient occlusion, and the green is roughness, and blue is displacement. Now select the main material, and in the details panel of this material you can see this displacement tab over here. Just expand it, and we're gonna decrease the magnitude to something like 1. Just hit apply. Now let's apply the material to the landscape. Just select the landscape material and then select the landscape, and in the details panel of the landscape scroll down a little bit, and over here you can see the landscape material tab. Just click on this arrow. As you can see, the landscape material is applied. Now you might notice these repetitive tiling issues, so we're gonna fix that. For that, open the again material editor, and over here we're gonna add texture coordinate. So just hold U and press left mouse button, hold M and press left mouse button, and then again hold S and press left mouse button to add parameter. I'm gonna name this parameter tiling, and I'm gonna give this a default value of 0.1, tiling into B and texture coordinate into A, and then multiply into UVs of these textures. Now you can see that the tiling issue is gone. It looks great, but you still don't see the displacement, so we're gonna fix that. Further, just select the landscape, and then in the details pane of the landscape scroll down a little bit. In the nanite section you can see that the enable nanite is turned off, so we're gonna enable it just like that, and then build data. Now you can see the displacement, so the value is too much, so we're gonna decrease that. In the landscape material we're gonna decrease the magnitude to something like 0.5, then hit apply. Now as you can see that it looks perfect. Still some of you might not see the displacement, so for that what we're gonna do, just copy and paste these commands into the console command like that, and hit space, then press 1, hit enter, then copy this command. Make sure not to copy this equal sign. We're just gonna copy the command like that, and then paste the command over here, space, then press enter. Now you should see the displacement. For now I'm just gonna add plane to represent over water, so for that I'm just gonna go to place actors panel, shapes and plane. I'm gonna scale it up to something like 1000, maybe 100. Yeah, 100 looks great. You can manually give this a value of 99, just like that. As you can see, it looks great. So first we're gonna add all of the assets that we're gonna use in this environment. The first asset will be our character. So for the character I'm gonna create a new folder. I'm gonna name it character. We're not gonna use this character because this character is paid. If you want to buy it, you can also buy it, but we're gonna stick with the free one, so everyone can follow the tutorial. As you can see, this is the free one. I have used this in my previous Last of Us environment, so we're gonna use the free one. Once you download the free character, the link is in the description. You'll have a character FBS file and also some textures. I'm gonna open the content browser and drag and drop it over here. Now make sure to import the animations, and also make sure to create new materials, and then import all. As you can see, the character is imported. Now we're gonna create a new folder for textures. I'm gonna name this folder textures. Double click to open the folder, and then open the textures folder, and drag and drop the textures into this folder, just like that. As you can see, there's a lot of textures, so we're gonna apply it one by one. So we're gonna go to character folder. Over here we have the backpack material, eyes, face, hair, and hand gloves, stuff like that. So we're gonna start with backpack material. Just double click to open it, and we're gonna delete this default parameter. Control space to open the content browser. In textures, first texture we have the ambient occlusion of this backpack. Just drag and drop and RGB into ambient occlusion. Then we have this base color into base color. Then we have the metallic into metallic, normal. Just plug the normal into normal. I'm gonna put it over here. Then roughness into roughness. Okay, so that's it. Then hit apply. I'm gonna drag and drop the character into the scene. We're gonna drag and drop this skeleton mesh just like that. As you can see, the backpack looks fine. It's a completely repetitive process, so you're gonna have to do the same with all of these materials. But there is a little bit different process with the hair material, so let me show you how to do that. Just double click to open the hair material, and I'm gonna open the content browser and drag and drop this hair diffuses and plug the RGB into base color. Then we're gonna drag and drop this hair alpha 2 over here. Then select the main material node, and in the details panel we're gonna change the blend mode from opaque to masked. And then we're gonna plug the alpha of this texture into the opacity mask just like that. As you can see that the hair looks great. Now let's start applying the textures to these materials. As you can see that we have finally applied the textures to our materials. As you can see, it looks great. Now we're gonna import all the other assets that I have used in this environment. All the assets are completely free, and the link of these assets in the description. So first let me show you the example how you can download and import the assets into your project. So first we're gonna create a new folder. I'm gonna name it house. All the assets are in FPS file format, so make sure to download all of these assets in FPS file format. So once you download the asset, you will have this zip file. Just right click to extract it. As you can see that we have the source folder and textures. So we're gonna go to source and drag and drop this model folder into the content browser of Unreal Engine. And we don't need to change anything. Make sure to create new materials and then import all. Now we have this individual parts of this old house. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a new folder with the name of textures. Now just drag and drop these textures into this folder like that. As you can see, we have all of these textures. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna apply these textures to these materials. I have already showed you the process how to do that, so I'm not gonna show you again. Now we're gonna select the first part of this model and then hold shift and select the last one and drag and drop this house model over here. I'm gonna delete this plane just like that, and then select the all parts like that. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna combine this into one static mesh, so we don't have to move them individually. Now to do that, we're gonna go to actor and then convert actors to static mesh. Just click on it, and then over here I'm gonna create a new folder. I'm gonna name it combine assets underscore assets. Just select this folder and hit save. I'm gonna name it old house. Hit save. As you can see, the mesh converted successfully. Now we're gonna delete this mesh over here and just drag and drop this combined mesh like that. It looks great. Now you're gonna have to download all of these assets that are in the description and apply the textures to them and then combine them into one static mesh. Then we're gonna start placing the assets into our environment. As you can see, I have imported all of the assets that we're gonna use in this environment. This one, also these are the combined old houses. Before started placing these assets, we're gonna import some more assets from Quixel Bridge. So let's open Quixel Bridge. I have already downloaded some assets, so let me show you. The first one is this Japanese park stone floor. You can also search over here in home section. You can find it. This one, broken concrete barrier, and this one, modular curb. These are the three assets that we're gonna use. So make sure to download these. And also we're gonna import this fire hydrant. So make sure to download this one also. Now we have all the necessary assets, so let's start placing them. So this is my camera angle. Now I'm gonna start placing some assets. I'm gonna open Megascans, and you can select static mesh filter from here. If you don't see those filters, just enable them. Here's a static mesh, skeleton mesh, and also level. Okay, so I'm gonna select the static mesh filter, and I'm gonna drag and drop this one over here. Just scale it up like that and hold Alt to duplicate it. I'm gonna bring my character over here just like that. Then I'm gonna drag and drop this and scale it up a little bit. It looks great. Now I'm gonna place the car over here. Just this one police car. Just drag and drop this over here. Rotate it like that. It looks great. Now let's go to Megascans folder again, and I'm gonna select the static mesh filter and drag and drop this modular curve over here. It looks great. Now let's just drop this fire hydrant over here. Okay, now let's start placing the cabins. So I'm gonna go to combine assets, and I have this old cabin. I'm gonna place it over here. Now let's start placing the second old cabin, this one, and rotate it like that. It looks great over here. Now let's start place the second one, this one. Scale it down a little bit. As you can see, it looks great. Now let's start placing the old cars again. Just drag and drop this one over here. Rotate it. Just scale it a little bit. Make sure to save everything. Now let's duplicate this dead end sign. I'm gonna put it over here. Now let's start placing some other cars. I'm gonna go to assets, cars version 2, and place this car over here. And place the second one over here. Rotate it. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select all of these pillars and drag and drop them over here. As you can see, it looks great. Just select this one. I'm gonna select some wires. Just bring it over here. Scale it down. You can right click and set the pivot over here, just like that, and place it over here. Just select all of these remaining pillars and delete everything like that. Okay, so that looks great for now. Now we're gonna add trees. So for the trees, let's open Epic Games. I'm gonna open Epic Games from here, Unreal Engine Marketplace. In the marketplace, now in search bar, we're gonna search tree and press enter. As you can see, we have a bunch of options, but we're gonna select the free filter. Over here, I'm gonna go with this Megascans tree, which are completely free. So download it and add it to your project. I'm gonna add them to my project, just like that. Tutorial, add to project. Okay, so after importing the trees, let's start placing them. Open the content browser. Here you can see the black elder folder. Just double click to open it. In geometry, simple wind, and now we can drag and drop trees like that. These trees have so many polygons, so that's why we're not gonna paint them all over the landscape. So we're just gonna put some of these over here. As you can see, it looks great. Now I'm gonna duplicate it over here. Hold Alt and duplicate it. Again duplicate it over here. Rotate it. And then again over here. Now we're gonna add some background mountains over here. So for that, open the Epic Game Launcher again, and in the search bar we're gonna search mountains. Select the free filter, and here you can see the landscape backgrounds. Just add it to your project. Okay, so after importing the mountains, let's start placing them. Here you can see the photoreal backgrounds folder. Just click on it and select the static mesh filter. Then just drag and drop some of the static meshes into the scene. Okay, so this one looks great. You can also import it. Here it is. Background mountains A_5. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add a cube, shapes cube, scale it up to something like 1000 and copy and paste 1000 over here. Now it looks great. Maybe scale it down a little bit to something like 500. It looks great. Just put the cube over here. By using this cube, we're gonna block the sunlight. For now, just leave the cube right here. Just save everything, and now we can add some more trees. So for that, just open the Quixel bridge. Here you can see that I'm using these European spindle. You can also download it and add it to your project. I'm just gonna add it to my project just like that. Now in Unreal Engine, open the content browser, and in Megascans, here you can see that we have these European spindle plants. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to foliage mode, and here you can see these plants that we just imported. So I'm gonna select some of them. For example, let's just select these and paint it over here. That looks great. Just erase them all. And now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna disable the static mesh filter and decrease the density. And also we're gonna decrease the density from here, maybe 3. We're gonna increase the scale, decrease it a little bit, maybe 6 to 7. That looks great. Now let's start painting them over here. Again, make sure to enable the static mesh filter and then start painting them over the mountain. As you can see, it looks great. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna decrease the Z offset, so maybe 40. Now it looks great. Just erase everything. Okay, so we have finally painted the tree. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to selection mode again, and as you can see, there's a huge drop in FPS. So we're gonna fix that. First, make sure to save everything, and we're gonna give a command in the console command. Type foliage dot force LOD space and 5, and then press enter. Now you can see it makes a huge difference. Now before adding more foliage to our environment, first we're gonna add water. So for the water, first we're gonna have to enable water plugin. Go to edit, plugins, and in the search bar we're gonna search water, and make sure to enable both of these plugins, and then restart your engine. Okay, so after restarting the engine, we're gonna give the same command for the foliage. So I'm gonna type foliage LOD and we're gonna type 5. Okay, now we're gonna add water. So in the place actors panel, we're gonna search water, and I'm gonna choose this water body lake over here. Just drag and drop this right here. Now in the details panel of this water body lake, make sure to disable this effects landscape like that. Bring it over here. I'm gonna keep the value at 100. It looks great. Now I'm gonna go to landscape mode, and we're gonna decrease the brush size, brush fall off, and also tool strength, just like that. Maybe increase the brush fall off, and hold shift to sculpt down like that, and go to selection mode, and we're gonna delete this default plane that we used for water reference. So let me see that. Select the plane and delete it. As you can see the water, it looks great. If you want to change the color of the water, you can also do that, but I'm gonna use the default one. So let me show you how to change the color of the water. In the details panel of the water body lake, scroll down a little bit, and here in the rendering tab you can find water material. Just double click to open it, and here scroll down a little bit more, and here you have the absorption and scattering. In your case, the scattering might be turned off. You can also enable it, and I have changed the color to something like green. In your case it might be blue, so you can also change it to green. Then press OK and save everything and close this window like that. Now we're gonna import some more assets. So for that we're gonna go to Visual Bridge again, and in the local, as you can see, I have downloaded some of these rocky assets. So I'm just gonna add them to my project just like that. This one, also this one, cement rubble. You can also search them and add to your project, as you can see. And also I'm gonna add these concrete rubble. Just go to Unreal Engine, and over here we're gonna open the content browser, and in Megascans folder just select the static mesh filter. Maybe open the 3D assets, then select the static mesh filter, and here we have these assets that we just imported. Just drag and drop them over here, scale it up and start placing them. After placing these assets, then we're gonna go to foliage mode, and over here I'm gonna open content browser, and here you can see that we have these concrete rubble that we just imported. Just select all of these, drag and drop them into the foliage type. So I'm gonna increase the scale a little bit to something like 2. That looks great. Now let's start painting these concrete rocks over here, just like that. As you can see, it looks great. Now we're just gonna save everything and go to selection mode again, and I'm gonna open the Visual Bridge. Now for the foliage, I'm gonna use this grass over here. So let me show you how you can find it. Just go to Home, 3D Plants, and in grass section you can find this grass over here. I'm just gonna select this and high quality. I'm gonna add this to my project just like that. And also I'm gonna add these cover plants. So go to Home, 3D Plants, and Climber. And also I'm gonna add this one. So let me show you how you can find it. Just go to Home, 3D Plants, Climber, and here you can see this. So just click on it and add it to your project. Now first we're gonna go to foliage mode, and I'm gonna select these one. Select the first one, then hold shift and select the last one. Enable it like that, and we're gonna test it over here. It looks great. Now let's start painting them. Okay, so after that I'm gonna deselect these plants and I'm gonna enable the grass. Here is the grass. Just enable it like that. And we also gonna disable these rocks just like that. Now first we're gonna test the grass. I'm gonna increase the scale a little bit to something like 2. Now it looks great. Now I'm gonna go to selection mode and I'm gonna save everything. Now first we're gonna set up our weather and lightning. Then we're gonna start working on grass and stuff like that. Now let's just set the lightning. So first I'm gonna add post process volume. Just in the place actors panel search post process volume and drag and drop this over here. In the details of this post process volume we're gonna search infinite and we're gonna enable this infinite accent unbound, and now we're gonna change the exposure. Just enable this metering mode and exposure compensation and change the auto to manual, and I'm gonna give this a default value to something like 10, maybe 11. As you can see, 11 looks great. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna change some more settings. Now I'm gonna select the direction light. Now we're gonna hold Ctrl and L to change the direction light, just like that. I'm gonna put the direction light over here. Just move the cube over here little bit further. Now we're gonna change some exponential height fog settings. So in the outliner, here we have the exponential height fog. Just select the exponential height fog and we're gonna increase the density like that, and we're gonna decrease the fog height for like this. If we change the foliage LOD settings, foliage dot force, and I'm gonna type 0. As you can see, it looks great, but there's a huge FPS drop. We're gonna change it back to LOD 5. So foliage dot force LOD to 5. Now we're gonna change the color of these assets to match them nicely. So for that we're gonna go to unlit mode. So from here we're gonna go to unlit mode. As you can see, so first we're gonna change the color of these trees. So for that we're gonna go to Megascans folder and Megascans 3D plants, and we can open the European spindle folder, and over here we have these two materials. So I'm gonna open the first one, and in the albedo section you can see the color overlay. Just enable it, and we're gonna change it to something like dark, like that. Close this tab and then again open this material, and I'm gonna put it over here. Enable the color overlay section and then make it a little bit darker, just like that. Then hit OK. And also we're gonna change the color of these assets. So just right click, browse to asset, and here you can see the material. Just double click to open it, and in the albedo tint I'm gonna change this to like blue, and we're gonna make it dark blue like that. It looks great. Hit OK and save everything. Then we also gonna select this asset over here, browse to asset, and also we're gonna change the color of these particles that we just painted. So just open the folder of these particles. Here we have the folder of these particles, concrete rubble. Just double click to open it and change the albedo tint to something like dark blue. Now we also gonna change the main landscape material to something darker. So for that just open the material. So I'm gonna go to content, and in Megascans, surfaces, and we have this landscape material. Just double click to open it, and over here I'm gonna hold 3 and press left mouse button, and then I'm gonna hold M and press left mouse button. Plug this in B and this one into A and multiply into base color. Then we're gonna change the color to something like dark blue, like that. Then hit OK and apply the material. As you can see that it looks great. We're also gonna change the color of this asset over here. Right click, browse to asset, and also we're gonna change the color of this grass. So for that I'm gonna open again Megascans folder in 3D plants, grass, and also make sure to change this material something like darker, like that. We also gonna change the color of these claws. So we're gonna make it a little bit darker. So for that we're gonna open our character folder. I'm gonna go to character, and here we have the jacket material. Just double click to open it. We're gonna do the same, like hold 3 and press left mouse button, and hold M and press left mouse button. RGB into B and constant into A, and then multiply into base color. Make sure to hold 3. We're gonna add the constant. Just delete this and add this one. Now we're gonna change the color to something like darker, maybe like this, little bit more darker, like that. Then hit OK and apply. As you can see that it looks great. Also we're gonna do the same with the pants. So open the pants boot material, then I'm gonna close everything and I'm gonna go to lit mode. As you can see that it looks great. Now I'm gonna select the post-process volume again, and I'm gonna increase the exposure to something like 12. Just make sure to save everything. Okay, so now it's time to animate this grass. So for that we're gonna open grass folder, go to Megascans, 3D plants, grass, and we're gonna double click to open this material instance. In the material instance, here you can see the wind, So you just have to enable grassland and then make sure to enable this one. Then hit save and close this tab. We also gonna do the same with this one. Just open it and enable grassland and also this one. Then hit save. You can increase the LODs and see the final results. So we're not gonna do that. Just bring it over here. Save everything and then we can open the Quixel bridge. And here I have downloaded this painted parking lines decal. You can also download it and add it to your project. So I'm just gonna add it to my project real quick, just like that. And here I'm gonna open my content browser in Megascans, decals. You can see your decals. So I'm just gonna drag and drop this over here. Now we can add fog to our environment. So for the fog we have two options. Either we can buy easy fog or either we can make our own material to create a fog effect. So we're gonna make our own material. It's really easy to do. So first what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a new folder in content. I'm gonna name it fog. Just double click to open the folder, right click and we're gonna create a material, m_fog. Just double click to open the material. I'm gonna put it over here. Now over here in the details panel of this material, we're gonna change the blend mode from opaque to translucent. And then over here we're gonna add radial, gradient, exponential. I'm gonna put it over here. Then I'm gonna add multiply, hold M and press left mouse button. Just plug the radial, gradient, exponential into A and then multiply into opacity. Then also plug the radial, gradient, exponential into base color. Then over here we can add depth fade. Then we can create two parameters to control the opacity and fade distance. Just hold S and the first one will be opacity and the second one will be fade distance. Plug them both and I'm gonna give them a default value of 1. Then plug the depth fade into B, hit apply. Now we're gonna go to main map and over here I'm gonna add plane. So go to place actors panel, shapes and add plane. Scale it up a little bit. And in the materials, we're gonna apply the material that we just created. As you can see, we have created the fog. You can add multiple variations to this fog. So for that, we can again open the material and we can duplicate the material just like that. And then we can open this one. Just close the first one. Make sure to save everything, then open the second one. Now we're gonna add noise textures to create different patterns of this fog. So for the noise texture, we're gonna open the content browser and over here you can see the engine folder. If you don't see the engine folder, just enable it from here. As you can see, we have this show engine content. Just enable it. Then open the engine folder and over here we're gonna search noise. And if you scroll down, you can see this tiling noise 05 texture. Just drag and drop this into the material editor. Now again we can add multiply node. So hold M and add multiply. Plug this multiply into A and then noise texture into B. Then this multiply into opacity. Then hit apply. Now if we duplicate this plane, hold Alt, duplicate it. And we can apply the material that we just created. Fog. And make sure to create material instance. Right click like that. Now let's apply the material instance to this plane, just like that. As you can see, we have finally created this noisy fog. Okay, so now let's start placing the fog over here to create some atmosphere. First, I'm gonna place this fog over here, just like that. As you can see that the fog is too sharp, so we're gonna make it soft. So for that, just create material instance of this fog and then put the material instance over here. Now double click to open material instance and we can enable fade distance and opacity of this fog, as you can see. Now we're gonna increase the fade distance, just like that. It looks great. Just put it over here, rotate it. We can also increase or decrease opacity. It looks great. Save everything and close the tab. Now just duplicate the fog just like that. Okay, so now we're gonna do final post-process work. So for that we're gonna change the exponential height fog a little bit. So I'm gonna increase the density to something like 0.1. It's too much, so I'm gonna decrease it a little bit to something like 0.8. 0.2 looks great, so I'm gonna change the start distance. You can play with these settings and get the look whatever you like. I'm just gonna leave them right here. And now I'm gonna select the post-process volume. Here is the post-process volume. Now we're gonna change some more settings over here. I'm gonna play with this image effects. Just enable the vignette and sharpen. Increase the sharpen a little bit and also increase the vignette a little bit. Again, in the color grading section, we can change the saturation, maybe a little bit higher. 1.1 is good. We also gonna add a little bit motion blur. Target FPS will be 24. There's a lot of options, so for me it looks great. You're gonna change whatever you like. So I'm just gonna leave it here. Just make sure to save everything. Now we're gonna render our shot. So for that, first we're gonna have to add level sequencer, then we're gonna add camera. So first add level sequencer, just go over here and add level sequencer. I'm gonna make a new folder for the level sequencers. Double click to open it. Just save this level sequencer like that. Then we're gonna add camera. So just open the place actors panel and search for camera. Here we have the cine camera actor. Just drag and drop this like that and set your angle. I'm gonna set my angle over here and then right click and snap object to view. Then drag and drop the camera into the sequencer. Now we're gonna change some camera settings. So for the camera settings, I'm gonna change this from digital film to DSLR, and then I'm gonna change the lens settings from universal zoom to 30mm prime, and we also gonna change the aperture, maybe 1.4. It looks great. Now let's search for post-process volume. Now in the exposure, we're gonna decrease the exposure a little bit, or something like 8 maybe, 9, maybe 10. 9 looks great, so I'm gonna go with the 9. I'm gonna place my camera over here. Now again, in the details panel of the camera, we're gonna open this focus settings. So we're gonna make it tracking, and in the tracking focus settings, we're gonna select our actor to track this character. Okay, so we are done with the camera settings. Now we're gonna change the frame rate to 24, and then we're gonna drag and drop this character into this sequencer. So let's select the character and drag and drop this into the sequencer. Okay, so now we're gonna animate our character. So for that, here you can see the animation icon. So just click on this plus icon, and here you can see the character animation sequencer. Just click on it. Then we're gonna select our character, and then also make sure that your gizmo is in local space. So we're gonna make it local. Just click on it to make it local. As you can see, now we're gonna rotate this character at 90 degrees. Just rotate this x-axis. I'm gonna rotate it like that. Just like that, it looks great. I'm also gonna rotate it a little bit here. Then I'm gonna put my character over here. As you can see, it looks great. Now we're gonna add smoke to our environment that you can see on the screen right here. So for the smoke, we're gonna open the marketplace again. So just open Unreal Engine Marketplace. As you can see, I'm not able to sign in with the Epic Games network, so I don't know what's wrong with it. So what you're gonna do is go to Marketplace and search for VFX pack. So you can find this realistic starter VFX pack for free. So download it and add it to your project. Okay, so after importing the VFX pack, now we're gonna open our content browser, and here you can see the realistic VFX starter pack. Just double click to open it, and then we're gonna go to particles, and then in smoke, Just drag and drop this first particle into the scene like that. Put it over here. Then double click to open this smoke. Now over here in the details panel, we're gonna change the FPS to 24. And then we're gonna increase the warm up time to something like 500. Then we're gonna go to initial velocity tab, just click on it. And over here in the start velocity, distribution, then we're gonna change the maximum velocity in Z-axis to something like 600. And then in minimum section, we're gonna change this to something like 400. Then we're gonna go to spawn tab. In spawn tab, in rate section, and then distribution, we're gonna increase the spawn rate to something like 50. And then make sure to save everything. Then we're gonna see the result. As you can see, it looks great. Just make sure to save everything and close the tab. Now we're gonna put this smoke over here. Scale it up. I'm gonna put it down a little bit right here. As you can see, it looks great. Now we're gonna animate our camera. So for that, open the level sequencer. I'm gonna open my level sequencer. Then I'm gonna bring my camera over here. Over here, I'm gonna add transform keyframe to my camera. Just click on it. Then I'm gonna move my camera a little bit here. Then add another keyframe. Then I'm gonna go to at the end of the timeline right here. And I'm gonna move my camera over here. And I'm gonna add transform keyframe again. And then I'm gonna select both of these transform keyframes and right click, and we're gonna change the interpolation mode to linear. I'm gonna change this one also. As you can see, it looks great. You can increase the timeline length if you want. I'm gonna make it something like 144. Like that. As you can see, it looks great. Now the first shot is done. Now I'm gonna make second shot. So for the second shot, I'm gonna delete both of these transform keyframes. Like that. And I'm gonna move my camera over here. Then I'm gonna add transform keyframe right here. Just move the transform keyframe at the 0 frame. Now I'm gonna change some camera settings. So for that, select the camera and I'm gonna change the lens settings to 50 mm prime. Like that. And make sure to decrease the current aperture to something like 1.8. It looks great. Now I'm gonna move my camera a little bit further from character, right about here. Then again, I'm gonna add transform keyframe. Then I'm gonna go to last frame, and over here, I'm gonna move my camera a little bit here. Then just add transform keyframe and change the interpolation mode to linear. As you can see, it looks great. Now we're gonna render this shot. Now for the rendering, we're gonna use movie render queue. So first we're gonna have to enable movie render queue plugin. For that, go to edit, plugins, and over here we're gonna search movie render queue. Just enable both of these plugins and then restart your engine. Make sure to save everything. Okay, so after starting the engine, we're gonna give the same command for foliage. So for that, I'm gonna type foliage.force as LOD. I'm gonna give a value of 5 and then press enter. And then we're gonna go to camera mode. Just click on perspective and cine camera actor. Then I'm gonna open my level sequencer. As you can see, it looks great. Now we're gonna click on this render icon over here. Just click on it. And as you can see, we have the movie render queue tab. So just click on unsaved config. And now we have all the rendering settings. So you can change the output directory if you want. You can also change the output resolution, and you can use your own custom frame rate, but we're not gonna change anything from here. So I'm gonna delete this JPEG sequence, and then we're gonna click on this plus settings icon, and then we're gonna add anti-aliasing. Then again click on this setting icon and then add PNG sequence, and then we're gonna add console variables. Now first we're gonna do some anti-aliasing settings. So for that, we're gonna change the temporal sample count to something like 32, and we're gonna set the spatial sample count to 2, and then make sure to enable this override anti-aliasing. Then we're gonna go to console variables, and over here I'm gonna add console variables. Just click on this plus icon, and then I'm gonna search r.motion blur. As you can see, r.motion blur quality, just like this, and I'm gonna set the value to something like 5. Then again I'm gonna add second console variables, and over here I'm gonna search r.depth of field quality. As you can see, we have r.depth of field quality. Just add it, and then we're gonna set the quality to 4. If you want to render your foliage at maximum quality, so for that you can add in command foliage.force LOD, and you can give the value of 0. All the console commands will be provided in description, so you can easily copy and paste them. Okay, so after setting up the rendering settings, now we're gonna just hit accept, and then you can hit render local.
Thank you so much for following along. If you learned something new, be sure to subscribe and like this video. I put a lot of effort into creating these tutorials for you, and your support means a lot.